Dr. Brenda Kubheka. I'm a mother, an academic, and an entrepreneur. I'm a co-founder of a company called Health IQ Consulting, which focuses on clinical risk management and ethics in healthcare, and also a co-founder of another company called Matched Media, which will be focusing on using stories to bring social impact. I'm originally from KZN, Pietermaritzburg, a small township called Sobantu, and I attended school in KZN and a boarding school in Bulwer. I have a medical degree and also business qualifications, and I'm very passionate about people and how the stories shape us as well. I have more than 20 years experience in the healthcare space since I qualified, and that has exposed me to so much. I've worked in the public sector and I've worked in the private sector, and I've also been a patient and a relative of patients. So working in clinical risk management and supporting the hospitals in addressing issues of patient safety, where patients are harmed by healthcare, unintentionally so, and how that has also created a gap between the profession or the sector and the society, and how we can bridge that gap by telling our stories so that people can see things from a different perspective and maybe have some sort of understanding, and also for all of us to ask ourselves the question, how can we make a difference, or what is it that you can bring to make a difference? What we are seeing currently in South Africa is what we're looking at in the US and thinking it's a movie that is playing in another continent and it wasn't going to get here. The crisis that we're facing in the healthcare system, which is medical litigation, and not discounting, the fact that citizens have a right to approach the courts to be, reimbursed for the harm they suffered. But I think we also need to use a different frame when looking at the problem, with that understanding that none of us and none of my colleagues leave home planning to harm a patient, but people are human beings. And I give an example now and again to people and say, you go to a bar and you ask for a Coke from a bartender, and they make a mistake and give you a Fanta orange. All he has to do is to throw it away and pour you another cup. In healthcare, there is no such. You make a mistake, it touches a life. It may not harm a patient, it may harm a patient. And when it harms a patient, trust me, it also harms the medical team that is looking after the patient, because we all leave home planning to save lives. We leave home planning to improve the quality of life. The tension that sometimes exists between the health system or the professionals and the patient or family members when things go wrong. And the importance of us acknowledging that if we have harmed a person, we need to own up to it. When someone steps on your toe, you want them to say sorry. And you also want them to make sure that they take measures not to step on your toe again. So it's the same thing in healthcare. But when we are so scared of litigation and also the environment not being so conducive for us to have conversations with patients, it becomes difficult. And if it becomes difficult, it means there might be an opportunity of the truth not reaching the patient. The public need to be informed about the health system and how to navigate the health system. And when we talk about informing, it also takes into account the medium that is being utilized, the language and the ease of understanding by the intended recipient, and also the relevance of that kind of information. So we know that announcements are made on radio, TV. I understand it's still popular, but there's a lot of conversations that are happening on social media. Hence, I always say, health professionals need to be on social media because that's where conversations are happening. So that way, if there is misinformation, they can guide appropriately. The provincial departments of health, they need to be on social media. They need to be active. They need to practice social listening so that they identify the issues that are concerning the society and respond accordingly. So those are opportunities. So it's a proactive communication based on the department or a facility strategy, and also it's reactive based on questions that are raised by people on radio, and also the conversations that are happening on Twitter and on Facebook as well. We're doing this video to show the need for effective communication that will bridge the gap between health service providers and the society. South Africa has a very low health literacy rate. Research has actually proved that. And for us to bridge the gap, we have to find ways for the health system to communicate with the society and the communities they serve. So my plea is for funding of projects that are aimed at bringing the society and the health system together, bridge the gap, and also for every stakeholder understanding that they have a role to play in improving the health of the society. So it's all about collaboration, and it's not the us and them, but we are together in this to improve the health of South Africans and to improve health literacy. Because communities that are not literate when it comes to health, the health status also reflects that. Health is a multi-sectorial matter, and the responsibility also should be multi-sectorial. As I mentioned earlier on, that different sectors need to reflect and ask themselves, how can they impact on health and enable, the improvement of the health status of the country, whether through policies or practices. It's also important for us to look at health with that understanding that health encompasses the balance and the well-being spiritually, psychologically, physically, and otherwise. And therefore, it affects people of all ages, of different ethnic groups, and different cultures. Yes, we might have different cultural practices, but they also influence how we process health information and how certain medical conditions get socialized in certain communities as well, and why certain conditions are stigmatized and people that suffer from those conditions will not disclose to their family members. So it is so important for us to elevate these issues for the benefit of the society, and also to enable the health service providers to understand the society better and provide a better service to our country. As a patriotic South African and a mother and a public health practitioner, I'm appealing to individuals and to organizations to work with us in realizing this dream. Any contribution is welcome in different forms. It could be financial support, it could be donating time and skills. If you want to contribute, please use the number that is on the screen to get hold of us, or the email address, and also feel free to leave comments on the comment section of our channel. Please subscribe, follow us, like us, and together we can improve the health of our society. Thank you.